one.
You gonna start on that camera. And then 3.
Grace and peace, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Shabach Network. We're excited that you came to this impromptu live. We are super excited to be with our presiding prelate, our presiding bishop. He has joined us today for this conversation, and we want to dialogue with you all. We can see your comments. We want you to ask your questions, and let's just have a conversation about the significance of spiritual fathers. Are they even needed now? Are they even relevant now? What's the significance of spiritual fathers? So do this for me. Go ahead and like and share. Go ahead and like and share this. Call your friends. Let them know that we're on. Follow our page. Please follow our page so that you can get all of our impromptu things and all of our postings that we do throughout the week. We want to have you in our meta space, and we're so glad to be here with you. So let's just give a great God bless you to our presiding bishop who's in studio with us, and let's thank God for the one and only, the Bishop Todd Hall. Come on.
God bless you, and
God
thank
bless
you
you.
for having us in this meta space here, and looking forward to this conversation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's jump right in. I know that they are liking and sharing the page and following the page and getting everything ready for others to be on with us. We see so many comments. Hey, everybody, we see you. Antonio, Kevin, hello, Lady Pleasant, hello, Beverly, hello, Keisha. So many people. Rashonda, good to see you. Phyllis, hello, good to see you. Lois, God bless you. Grace and peace be unto you. Y'all share this. But we're going to jump right in. Bishop, I want to jump in because I think that there's lots of conversation around spiritual fathers now. Spiritual fathers, spiritual mothers. Are they significant? Are they still here? Are we seeing the last of what we know of spiritual fathers? I had a conversation with a group of pastors a while back, and there was a theory or a philosophy that there is wisdom in the multitude of many. So you don't necessarily have to have a father. Are mentors and coaches replacing fathers? If that's the case, what's the detriment on that? But let's start here. Let's start with, I guess the question at hand: why do we need spiritual fathers? Do you think that it's important for us to have spiritual fathers?
I think it's important for people in the natural to have a father, period. Because the word spirit is put in front of it, don't make it any different. A house without a father is not really as balanced as a house that would have had a good father. The word bad tagged to it or irresponsible is different, but I believe households are more wholesome where there are parents, father and mother present doing their roles. Absolutely, I believe that they are necessary.
So if there was a job description given to one who is a spiritual father, from your angle, tell us what that looks like.
Patir is the word for paternity. Okay, it means covering, it means canopy, it means something that covers. Okay, a true father is there to provide, to protect, but also to promote. All right, and that's the word I think is missing from kingdom language, kingdom linguistics, is promote. But we never promote that which is not obedient, that which is not accountable, that which does not want to walk upright. So what it looks like now, looks like a parole officer. Back in the day, we obeyed easier because the rod and staff comforted us. Wow. Now conversations and just saying I understand you does not work. So where there is no rod of correction, there's a longer dialogue full of fluff that takes us nowhere.
Wow. So I heard you say about 3 times accountability. Is that accountability from the father to the child, or is it from the child to the father? Does it go both ways?
The accountability is from the child to the father. The responsibility is from the father to the child.
Wow. Okay.
I'm responsible for my children, whether they're accountable or not. I'm still responsible for them.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So what does accountability look like from a son? You're my spiritual father. More than that, you're almost like my biological father. I look at you like a biological father. So I get the best of both worlds. You coach me in ministry. You coach me in marketplace. You coach me in life. You coach me in character. We talk about all things. You coach me in marriage. You coach me in a lot of areas. How does one find that? Like, where does that come from? Is this a God ordained thing?
You don't find it. No one found their parents unless they were born and was given to adopted parents and go on to search. Okay? Parents cannot be chosen. You don't choose who your father and mother is. It just happens. I think that most people would have had one, but you don't know what you're looking for if you actually don't know what you need. And a lot of people are looking for healers. They're not looking for parents. They're looking for the masseuse, somebody who understands them, someone who will rub them down. Because to be wounded and then find who your parent is, and that parent now has to be a responsible parent, you feel like you're being abused. Because now on top of your wounds, they have to tell you their truth of who you are and make you accept what you did to be in the position. Now you no longer even want a parent. You don't want a father. You don't want a pastor, because they're basically repeating words at a time when you're too hurt to receive them.
Wow. So how does, I've heard you talk countlessly about your bishop and how you served your bishop for all these years before he passed, how you sold into your bishop. You were a tither, you were a giver. You were very accountable to your spiritual father, and even after his transition, your submission to where you are now for covering. What does accountability, if you will talk from the standpoint of a son, what does accountability to a father look like? Wholesome, healthy accountability from a son to a father. Dialogue that, because I think in my generation and beyond, we get it twisted. We think we find our fathers and we can divorce our fathers. We can leave and go somewhere else. There's not the organics there, and it lacks the accountability sometimes. So let's talk about what healthy accountability looks like as a son.
Well, we do have cases in legal laws now where a teenager can be emancipated from their parents.
Okay.
First natural, then spiritual, for several reasons. But for me, as for me in my house, what this generation is missing is not knowing that everything that I have that you have to ask to use, clean the house that you live in. Sometimes we'll charge you rent to teach you a responsibility. A car, tell you bring it back on full. What they don't know is everything that they are being given access to when the father leaves, if he's done his responsibility, it's theirs. They don't know they're sowing into what's theirs. So they want something separate to say, that was my dad's, this is mine. When they become a parent and go from sonship to being a father themselves, biologically or spiritually, everything that they're working towards is to leave it as an inheritance for that person. So this generation does not want to help us upkeep what we're doing, because it's not something that I want to do, but it's been something that we've been doing that's been putting money in your pocket, helping you go to college. It's still something that has been assisting you on your journey. You follow me? Therefore, if they will start thinking from a better space, and that is, I'm actually upkeeping what will actually be mine.
Wow.
It's theirs.
Wow.
If I was to become deceased today, God forbid, if my children who are accountable remained accountable, the most accountable child, their name is on my will. It is then at their discretion amongst their other siblings and other people. But I give everything that I have to the most accountable child.
Wow.
Who thinks and worked with me to achieve and maintain it. It's theirs now. There's nothing I can do about it. Nothing I can say about it. But what they don't understand is they're walking in something with their head held up, because I actually was a great son to make sure that my father's legacy continues. It's theirs.
So let's talk about legacy. A month and a half ago, we were out to eat, and I was talking about legacy, and as a son to a father, how I wanted to do certain things to make sure that your legacy can live on forever. Right? So let's talk legacy. I don't know if you remember what you said about legacy, but it was the first time I ever heard that stance from a father to say, hey, what legacy truly is.
So what did I say? So I can tell you what I'm going to say.
You basically said what you just said. Hey, everything that you're doing now, we say is legacy. I'm gone, but it's really for you. So as a son, I guess what I really wanted to kind of stroke is the fact of the need to die into fathers. I think a lot of times we compartmentalize when we say that this is my father. We give certain things, but we won't really die into that. The need for more sons to really die into.
The key word in legacy is leg. If you run track, everybody has to run a leg. Legacy, leg-I-C. A lot of people want to stand on their own 2 feet when sometimes standing on the shoulders of them that have strong legs is better. You are supposed to stand on the shoulders of your fathers. You don't have to stand on your own 2 feet except when he's teaching you. He's saying, learn to do this for yourself. Here's my belief about legacy. If there's no one that can keep it going as you had it and do it better, you don't have one. Okay, period. If I give you a car that I bought back in the 70s and I gave it to you as a gift and you don't have vision to see what I saw in that vehicle, you would still have it at the value of $6,000 as a shell. But if you took it and saw a vision for what I gave you, you can take that up to $250,000 because you started investing in what was left.
Wow.
Okay. Legacy says, take what I left you, see what you can do with it. Do it so well that you tell people the part I did was the building, but what I did could not stand if there was not a foundation. Those who leave you with a foundation. Everything you do from there is you build upon it. And I think a lot of people no longer want to build upon what other people have done because this new mind, my vision.
Yes.
What did God show me? If all of us had visions from God, no one would get anything complete.
Wow. Wow.
If everyone in the world had a vision from God, no vision would be complete.
Wow.
And everyone that gets a vision is now hoping that somebody else who they wouldn't support supports their vision. So you say support is not necessary, but it actually is, because when you start your vision, you're starting to pull on people. And what if they say, I can't help you, I got a vision? If everyone's living off of a vision, nothing will get complete. Somebody has to have the heart of assistance. Jesus was so kind. And this is going to answer your prior question. Jesus was so kind when he knew he was going to leave. He was about to ascend back unto his Father.
Yes.
He said, I come to do the will of my Father, him that sent me. He laid claim that he has a Father through the whole scripture.
Yes.
My Father, when you see me, you see the Father. That's legacy. He's never absent if I'm present. That's legacy.
Wow.
He's always visible even when he's invisible. That's present. You have his mannerisms. You have his ways. You have his understanding. You have his wisdom. You have his knowledge. Everybody wants people to say they like you, but it hands down. But here's the question. He said, when you go to God on your own, please start off your prayer as this: Our Father. I'm sharing him with you. Don't go to him like you were already his son. I'm giving you access through my sonship to him. Let him know who introduced you, because I am his only begotten son, and I've just went and begotten him some more sons. So when you approach him, he knows the only way you can call him Father is I gave you the permission.
Wow.
Let him know you know where he is, which art in heaven. Let him know that his name is holy. Hallowed be thy name. Let him know you want to do his will. Let him know you need his assistance. Keep the evil away from me. Let him know you need him as much as I did. And what he's going to teach you in the long run is you already had me when you had my son, because everything he did like I would.
Man.
It's important that we stop acting like we need to be our own entities, because that's the desire of a demon. Satan wanted to be God. He wanted to be a separate entity. And for him to be God, he's no longer accountable. He's no longer submitted. He now gives the orders. If there was a quadrant, if there was a fourth person in the Godhead, facetiously, it would have been him. He stood before the throne worshiping. He didn't like his posture. He didn't like his position. He wanted to exalt his throne above the throne of God. And that's where the disrespect comes in. When sons feel like they know more than their daddies, can do more than their daddies, see more than their daddies, and stop listening to their daddies. Most people say that anyway, ain't never had a real good father.
So let's talk about that, because you had both a good biological father, and you had
I still have that.
Right, and a bishop.
And I miss that.
Was a good spiritual father. What did that do for you from a balance standpoint? What did one give you that the other couldn't give? And people like me that didn't have a good biological father, who now has a good spiritual father who's happened to help me in the biological area. What's the balance that you look for in there?
My biological father, Aaron Hall, gives me conversation. He wants more of it. The problem, if I can use that word loosely, between me and my father is I don't talk to him as much because I act more like my bishop. He was a man of few words. So a lot of his characteristics are in me, and sometimes they can show up at a time when they shouldn't when it comes to me and my biological father. Because Aaron Hall can talk, holds great conversations. When I only knew him, I talked. Then when I got with the other, he's a man of few words. On the phone, 30 seconds, goodbye. But them 30 seconds are so powerful that they keep me going for 30 days, 2 months. So you have to know that which is for your flesh is flesh. That which is for your spirit is spirit, marvel not. So when you get a spiritual father, that's for your spirit. But most people try to make him take the place of the flesh. And that's when it becomes overbearing. And sometimes fathers that have been hurt by their biological children, they put upon their spiritual children the same pressure to get the love from their spiritual children that they couldn't get from their biological children. And that's unfair. So you have to know the extent of these relationships. Okay, and that is this. When you say, I am your spiritual father, if I heard your words and I just took that statement, I would limit myself just to spiritual matters. But when you said you're like my biological father and I know the extent of what you meant, the reason why you have access to me more than just a spiritual son is I know that I've been anointed by God to supplement you in that area.
Absolutely.
And as a spiritual father, I can walk away. As a father, if I'm responsible, I'm not supposed to.
Absolutely. Why is it now that people think it's weird? If you go into any of my churches, there's my picture and there's your picture. You saw it for yourself. And my picture, your picture has your name on it. My picture has Brian Tyrone Pleasant Hall. And not everybody, some people have said, hey, don't you think it's weird for you to be that invested in your man of God? I hooped for the first time. I'm learning a couple of weeks ago. Now, I tore my voice up for 3 days, but I was trying to hoop like you. Come on, you see, I practiced it. I changed keys twice. Everybody looked at me like, where you get this from?
But please make it known, I didn't request that.
No, you didn't request that. You told me to be the best man that I could be because that's who I was. But as a son, I desired to be like my father, right? People have said even when we go places, they was like, oh, I know you're part of Shabach. I see you dance. You dance like the Shabach people. They like you drunk the Kool-Aid. Why is it like a bad thing now for, I know people say don't be a copycat, but I just think it's the cat that you're copying. If you have legacy and you have somebody who is as powerful as you are, I know a bunch of preachers out there that we can name that are greats, but I don't know another Todd Hall. I don't know anybody who can do what you do how you do it, do what you do. I think that you were blessed to give us that. Is it wrong for a son to desire that?
I personally don't think so. There are very few people that I lead who actually place upon me the value that they give me. Like I've walked in 2 or 3 of our churches and I see my picture up there as chief apostle. I never call myself apostle. I don't use words. I don't use titles much. And it does something in the place of being valued. It makes you feel valued. When I grew up in church, we always had our leaders' pictures up. Always. In every church I grew up in as a child in the 60s and 70s, Daddy King's picture was up, Mabel King's picture was up, Bishop Frederick Washington's picture was up, and Madam Washington's picture was up. Dr. Howard Kelly's picture was up, and Madam Washington's picture was up. And when the next preachers came in, if they did not disrespect, they let them stay up for a while because it's the way that people remembered them. A picture that's up says this is the person that I want to continually see elevated in my eyes. So you elevate them through pictures. Now, here's my issue. I don't see nothing wrong with it. The black church in particular uses words loosely that they have no full definition of, and that is you're worshiping that man. You're worshiping that woman. You're making them a god. Let's kill some of the foolishness. The Bible says we are all little gods, small g's. We all are created in his image and likeness, at least Adam and Eve and the family was. And now we get to create our children in our image and likeness as well, to the point where we enjoy hearing when people say out of respect, "Ooh, you remind me of your daddy." Oh my God, get out my face. You talk like your father. We didn't go around practicing this. I don't go around trying to talk like Aaron Hall or walk like Aaron Hall, but it's in there. Why? He's my father. Okay, here's the problem. People then start translating that to look like a cult. And because they have poor grammar, they don't know everyone is a cult, but not an occult.
Oh, wow.
See, an occult is when you start worshiping a person to where you can no longer see God and everything they tell you is God. And you drink the real juice, the Jim Jones, whatever. But a cult means that a person has been so great in their responsibilities to where they're beginning to replicate themselves everywhere. They're branded. You go to a cow stable, cow stall, you know whose cows they are because they got the brand on them.
They got the brand.
You don't judge them by how they look. You judge them by the brand, not by the looks. Yeah, you should talk like your leader if you stay around long enough. You should have some of the cliches, some of the nuances of your leader. If not, you're dipping and dabbling somewhere else because that's not yourself. We're always being influenced by someone else in the whole world.
Yeah.
All of us are always being influenced by someone else. But do we have to take who we influence into us? That's another story. Okay? They have two garbage things. They look the same. In my neighborhood, you got one with a blue top, one with a green top. It's for garbage. Except one is recyclable for boxes. So you have to know particularly why. Yeah. If you stayed with me and you did not get a little hoop, just one, then you didn't stay around long enough. But if you were with me back in the 80s, you would be just like me because all I did was taught. I went through several cycles to get back to hooping a little bit. Several. I went on my search of Frederick Price, not to be a father. I went on my search of black and white preachers, male and female, to learn where the world was going. I went to props. I watched Rod Parsley go forth. I found out who his leaders were. So whenever I admired someone, I looked for their leader. And if I couldn't find a leader, I'd stop admiring them. I needed to know where they got what they got from. If you get sick physically and it's contractable, I'm sure you want to track
where it came from.
Yeah, okay. So we can go after finding out where we got the worst things in life from, but not brag about where we got the best things in life from.
Right. So that leads us to succession. As a father, I've heard you talk a lot about not just apostolic succession in the bishopric or in episcopal order, but just succession, period, that sons can be traced through DNA. Do you think that we're coming in a time now where there will be sons that won't have DNA because we're taking on more orphans than we are taking on true sons that take on our true identities?
I'm only looking at my phone to see how many people is somewhere, because I'm new to this digital space. I'm on there, but I actually want to see.
Okay.
And I want to know why some of them are not sharing it. Because you got a group of people who won't share what they see, because if they share it, the people that see it is going to wonder how you under it and not like that.
Wow. Wow.
I know now who's connected to me by who took time out to sign in. I know whether they believe what I believe by who they share it with.
Wow.
I've never, ever been a great leader yet. I'm still on the path to learn how to be a great leader. You all that submit say you're a great father, but I've always been a great son. I brag in that.
Yes, sir.
That's where I rest. And I know that a lot of what I'm receiving from God is because of how I served a man.
So tell us what that service looks like. If one is to be a model son to a father, what does that look like? And include giving, because some people don't think that they're supposed to give to the father.
The best story in the Bible to tell, those who are rookies right now are going to jump in and say the prodigal son. You know, they're going to jump in. And I see y'all looking at Bishop Brian Pleasant, wonder what he's doing. He's attracted to clicks, so he's looking at our TV board, see how many y'all talking. He's attracted to metaverse. Okay, so it's not that he's ignoring me, but my thing is, the greatest story in the world is Elijah and Elisha. They say Elisha so they can differentiate the two. He followed Elijah with passion. You don't see any problems. Every leader has a fault, has a default, some to their demise. Every leader has a form of an addiction, habit, or flaw. The Bible then says, I'm about to blow your mind. I wasn't going to take this track, but I am now, that all have sinned and come short of the glory of God.
Yes.
But we do not have any written sins of Elijah. And people thought that would be because he was a type of Christ in school, or that he was a God because he had no ending of days and we don't know who his parents were.
Wow.
But the reason why you hear nothing is his son said nothing. The reason why you hear nothing is his servant divulged nothing. Mm-hmm. He was not just loyal to his prophetic, he was loyal to his person.
Oh, this is good, sir.
What now?
This is good.
He wasn't just loyal to his prophetic gift. He was loyal to who he was. So we know nothing from a human standpoint of Elijah. Mother, father, beginning, days, ending, nothing. And trust me, he's human. Because the book of Jude then says Elijah was a man such as like passion, such as we were. It lets us know in Jude that he was absolutely human and flawed.
Yes.
Here's the point. When he's about to leave, when the chariot or whatever's about to come carry him out and take him into the metaverse, he tells his son didn't ask him, he tells his son 3 times.
Yeah, stay.
You can leave and start your own. Mm-hmm. You have enough of me, enough knowledge and wisdom, and you did it right, that you can start your own. The first thing son should learn is what Elisha said. He said, as long as your soul lives, why would I go as a son to start my own when I have a father?
This is good.
Who can continue to take me further. I have a father who can continue to take me further. Real fathers take you further, but you have to listen.
Wow.
So some people don't have fathers, but they also don't have furthers. if I can make that word up. And where they stop being sons, they cease going further. So
Yes,
everything
sir.
they say they're blessed in is a pseudo lie because they want you to believe that they are doing good without you.
Bishop.
Okay? He says, leave again. These are pleasurable departures. He's saying, you have learned all you can from me. I'm about to be taken by God. This is an exit by God. God's taking me from you, and I'm telling you, you can leave now in peace. He says, as long as your soul lives.
Wow.
Now, people would think that that type of dedication is an occult,
Yes.
is a worship. So don't judge with me or other leaders that have that type of influence in people's lives. It's in the Bible. So how was it handled? He says to him, being that you're going to stay until I'm gone. The father, the leader says, what can I do for you?
Yes.
The son didn't ask for anything. We're living in a generation where they're asking for things, and if they can't get something, they're ready to go get it. I should have this by now, this, that, get promoted. Next week, they ready to start their own thing. All of these promotions cause them to become terrorists instead of terrific, right?
Bishop.
And you have to assassinate who assisted you.
Oh my goodness.
Just continue to climb this ladder to nowhere.
Oh my goodness.
Here's my point. I want a double portion of your spirit. He didn't say of God's spirit.
Right.
He didn't say of the Holy Spirit. Whatever spirit is upon you, I want it. He didn't ask for his gifts, his talents. He didn't ask for the prophetic.
Right.
I want whatever God has placed upon you to be placed upon me. Fast forward. This is where you can clap, and if we had an audience, they could scream. You ready?
Ready.
Here comes the chariot. Mm-hmm. But the precursor to getting everything was, if you see me when I go up. Mm-hmm. You have to stay until I'm elevated. You have to stay. You have to see it to get it. You have to be there to the end.
This is so good.
To the very end. If you see me when I go up, chariot comes, splits both of them.
Right.
Takes Elijah. I wish I had time for this. Took him up. Mm-hmm. And for the first time in all of his years following this man that he served right, called him master, was subservient, never got familiar, never messed up his name, washed his hands, served his food, did everything. This is the first and only time you hear him say, my father. He never called him father the entire tenure. That's why Elijah said, you ask a hard thing. Because asking it from a part of being a servant, I can't do it. But if you were a son and addressed me by my right title, I would have the legitimacy to release upon you what I couldn't as you being a good servant. That's the only time he ever said, my father, the horsemen, chariots of fire. Once God heard the word father and the dynamics of the relationship shifted to a place of responsibility and reason, that's who got the double portion. People asking God for double portions of everybody that they admire. Illegit. It ain't gonna never happen. You have to serve. You have to be a son.
Wow. Wow. So I have two more questions, and because we're running out of time, but is there ever too much that a son can do in serving a father? Here's a context that we can take. Jonathan laid on the sword after his father was killed. When we preach it out of context, we say he committed suicide. But the reality is, I think it was a son who said, hey, my assignment is complete because now my father is gone. So is there ever too much that a son can do in serving a father?
The answer would be yes. Yes, I know you expected no. But the answer would be yes, in that if that son / daughter is not actually passionate and engrafted into the Father's vision, it's an illegitimate sacrifice. I'd rather you go on your own and live the best of your ability than to die helping me and your heart is not connected. Let me give you an example. God told Abraham, take Isaac, thy only son, and go sacrifice him. Go sacrifice him. He never told Isaac that you're going to be sacrificed. He only shared that information with the father. It's the new son saying, well, that don't grieve my spirit because God didn't tell me that. I know he told him, but he didn't tell me. God does not work in that dynamic.
Wow.
He said, take him and don't even tell him. And he took him. And they're walking.
Right.
And he put responsibility on the son. Carry the wood. We're going to the mountain. The son was intelligent enough because he had a relationship with the father, not out of fear. He said, I see the wood. I see the fire. Where's the sacrifice? Mm-hmm. And Abraham said to the son, God will provide. But while they were walking, there's a scripture and verse that says, he spoke to his servants, not to the son. He said, I and the lad go and we will return. He took no servants up that mountain, just a son. And a lot of people who call themselves spiritual sons are nothing but really servants of your ministry. Then they get jealous because there's a certain group that have more access than they do because you're serving, but they are actually sons. They're carrying parts of the wood, the fire. They don't know what's going to happen. They're following you blindly.
Oh, my goodness.
Blindly.
Oh, my
They're
goodness.
walking up there. And this is what he said, I and the lad will be back.
Oh, my goodness.
And the son willingly laid on that altar and allowed his father to rope him, because the son asked the question, because somewhere in his spirit, if he knows his father and his father's faith, he knows, I'm the sacrifice.
I'm the sacrifice.
I am the sacrifice, and I'm going to be a great son. I'm going to lay down. If this is how my father and God became who they are, and my mother gave birth to me when she wasn't supposed to at an old age, I'm going to submit to that God. And he laid down. And Abraham was about to kill him. He didn't slow stroke. An angel had to call his name twice. Abraham, Abraham, do thy son no harm. He had to call the man twice because the man loved God enough to kill his son. There are no real fathers if they're not willing to sacrifice their sons. But we're always praying that God will call our name and say, leave him alone. Over there, there's a ram. But we cannot treat servants like sons. And a lot of people come to serve ministry, serve your church. They leave because they were never connected enough to be a sacrifice for your ministry.
Is that through breaking covenant or is that through deed?
It all depends on who you're addressing, the son or the servant.
The son. Well, the son or the servant. Those that come who become sons, do I become son through breaking covenant or do I become son through deed?
You know, my father, I already told you, I always talk about my leaders. My father is Aaron Hall. Let me ask you something. You ready?
I'm ready.
I've been following him blindly for 60 years because we ain't never had a blood test. I don't know if that man's my dad. But I've been told that I am. I grew up believing it. He says he is. My mama say.
Yeah.
It would be insulting for me to go to this man who raised me since I've been born, took care of me, who I believe has been my father all the time, and everybody says he is, and ask him for a blood test. That would be very insulting.
This is This is y'all okay? Everybody breathe in, breathe out. The studio audience, all 200 of them are laid out. We have no altar workers.
Yeah, but I want to give you a reason, because all my brothers are dark skinned and tall. I'm short. I'm brown. I'm 5'6". My brothers Aaron, Damien, Darren, they all 5'11", 6'2", 6'1". When people see us all, they say, Damien looks like your father. Oh boy, Nikki talks like your daddy. But I'm the firstborn. And I don't have height, color, hair. They all can grow their hair. I have a lot of reasons why I could say, can I have a blood test? But that will come from a place of insecurity. And insecure children are worse than faithful servants. I'll leave that. Most leaders are insecure.
Jeez.
That's why they protect their sheep, treat them like it's their foal, act like they're the pimp with a bunch of prostitutes. These is my property.
Goodness gracious.
Because they've never been properly sired themselves. My father made me share with my brothers. I had to cook for them because I could cook when I was early because of the dynamics of our house. You know, beans and franks, boiled beans, eggs, scrambled, cut the beans in it, whatever, but we ate. We were not poor in mind, but we didn't have things. But my father taught me how to share my bike. I said, but it's mine. He said, let your brother ride. We had to learn these dynamics, but only the father could set that rule in order.
My goodness.
Only the dad. Then when we got down to he didn't listen to me, so I beat him, my father said, that's one thing you can't do. You will never be his father. Wow. So we got a group of people starting fellowship, brothers on brothers fighting.
Right.
Because they ain't going to never, at the end of the day, see another brother as a father.
Oh, Lord. We're going to have to do part 2 of this, but this is where the turn is going to come. And this may be a simple question. You're pastoring now, right? So you have Shabach, Christian Fellowship.
One of the most difficult tasks of my life.
And now you're pastoring.
One of the most difficult tasks of my life.
All your members are not your children. True or false?
Oh, absolutely true.
So how does one distinguish between, I see Terrell, that's a spiritual daughter to me. I see Apostle Gloria, that's a spiritual daughter to me. And I see several of my members on here that are not necessarily spiritual children to me in context of our relationship.
I really hate that word spiritual.
Okay.
And maybe the word I'm using is too harsh. I don't fully see the difference in my kingdom sons and my biological, except my responsibility to the biological as they grew.
Okay.
When I call someone son and daughter, I become as the father as I would to my kids. Now, people are not going to like that. My job then is to protect their destiny and to make sure they reach their destination. Okay, period. Okay, that word spiritual is being used in a negative light to where people say you can't get in my business. You know, I'll tell you about my church, but I ain't got to tell you about me. You know, I tell you about what's going on with a spiritual dream, but I'm not going to tell you about the mistakes that I made.
Wow.
I want you to use your gift to tell me what this dream means, but I want you to stay out of my business to tell me why my marriage is failing. That's not your business.
Jeez.
Okay, so that word spiritual, one day when you do it, we'll break some Greek and Hebrew down.
Okay.
A lot of folk pastoring don't have knowledge of the Bible. They don't know the Greek. They don't know anything about
Etymology.
etymology. They know nothing about theopos theology.
Right.
They are great at stealing, using, borrowing from YouTube and whatever, which is fine if you're going to commit, or at least so, into the person whose information you're using.
Right.
Okay? It's bad when everybody feels like they can use your car, but when they use Hertz, they pay a rental. It's It's bad that they want your car for free because
free.
of relationship,
Free. My God.
but will pay Hertz and bring it back full, but get upset when you say, can you just put gas in it?
Oh, my goodness.
It's just, even Hertz now is not using their car. They're using your insurance. They ask you, do you have insurance?
Correct.
It's you have touched a soft spot in my heart. Okay, and even though we need to go a few more minutes, because even though we're on a time schedule, the people are listening.
Yeah.
Hey, how many people we have on the tube?
462.
462 people on YouTube. We're not letting them go. You can go. But the Father's staying right here.
Yes, sir.
You see the difference? How many is on Instagram? Okay, they download because that's a different social media platform. We have quite a bit on Facebook. I've never done Instagram Live. It's not even on my page. None of this is on my page.
Yes, sir.
Just so y'all know, I purposely said let it stay on the sons and daughters page.
Yes.
None of this is on my page, or we have more people.
Absolutely.
None of the videos, I didn't even share it. It's not on my page.
Yes, sir.
This is straight conversation.
Yes.
My point is this, and you didn't want to go here, but the fathers of today, including myself, we have allowed ourselves to probably take transparency to nakedness, and we've tried to use other methods to show that we are human, to where our innocency was used against us. So now that this generation can see the mistakes of the fathers,
Yes.
they use that to strengthen their posture as being an unaccountable individual.
Wow.
I don't have to follow him. He just did this. I don't have to follow her. She
Right.
did this. Who are they to tell me something?
Correct.
My mother was on drugs, but when she said go to bed, I went to bed. What you mean?
Right.
I didn't say she a crackhead. She just got home, walking up in here. She ain't even cooked dinner. Talk about she's my mother. Boy, we'd have got slapped. Because the most powerful statement that a real mother could make in a strong household, watch, is wait till your father gets home.
Wow. This is so good.
That statement is no longer powerful. But that statement made a child start acting right before the father got home. All right, Mom. Just don't tell daddy.
Right.
Where is that reverence? Where is that respect? When I fell short as a preacher, as a prophet, when I had a child out of wedlock and whatever, the worst hurt I had was wait till my bishop hears this. I was not caring about no church appointments. He ain't going to be able to go preach nowhere.
Right.
What I really had an issue with is the man that believed in me, that undergirded me, is about to be hurt. And a lot of people who told him not to cover me is now going to have a reason why he shouldn't have. And when that man still stood up for me
In the world.
against all that was true and false, leaving. If somebody can stick by you in your worst and see you do things, you know it's out, and he still fights for you. Leaving is not even in my conversation. I'm staying where I can be protected and prosecuted. He tore me up, but he released me to go continue doing what God said to do, and protected me in public while he whooped my behind one-on-one. The worst beating I ever had was from words, not from a belt. And the words only hurt because of who it came from. My father.
I think fathers.
What was Jesus' worst pain? Can you come up with it? Even if you can't, you don't have to, but I can. His worst pain in the world was, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? I need you. He elevated his father's title to God. He said, even though you're my father, I know you got more power than this. Let's get this over with. And people want out of their spiritual fathers what they couldn't get from their biological fathers. Then when we give you what your biological father didn't get, you leave us.
Right.
And we just gave you what you said you never received.
That's true.
That's painful. And that has caused the church to be in this vicious cycle that it's in. People come and go. I just heard a man, I won't say his name, on, I know if it's public that you should be able to talk about it, but I'm not. And he had to get up, similarly I did, and say, if you join my ministry because you feel God said you're my wife, please leave today. Prominent preacher. That hurt me to hear him have to say that, because that should have been the job, if there were present, of a father. But he has to get up and protect his own humanity by making a statement that could empty his church, because now you're being looked at as a leader, but as an equal.
Man.
You're my leader, but you're my equal. So whoever the women were, you are anointed, but you ain't anointed if you don't have me. And to watch him, it's on IG, it's viral.
Wow.
I said to myself, the members should know how to separate spiritual father from emotions. They don't know how to do it. This generation does not know. Their emotions are their pastors. Their emotions are their bishops. They are led by emotions. Most of this generation now, very emotional, anointed and emotional.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
So let's take a controversial turn. Y'all like and share. It's about to get crazy.
Yeah,
real
I
quick.
wish everyone would have shared this by
Share
now.
this.
I see on the, I don't know how to read it, but I have my babies helping me. I see Facebook on YouTube with the F's, and I can tell what platform you're coming in from, looking at it. But I want y'all to come on. I want y'all to come on, because we're going to end here, because I'm a father that has to preach tomorrow, and I'm a father who needs to have at least 2 hours to hang out tonight. But go ahead.
Yes, sir. So two questions. This is going to take a controversial turn. Just like we have spiritual fathers, now we also have spiritual mothers. And is it important that you have both and or either or?
No, a paternity, the matriarch, the patriarch, there are single mothers that raise great children. You don't have to have both. God empowers someone to be your covering. He doesn't empower some two to be your covering. He empowers someone. He doesn't need a plethora or multiples to get it done, unless you're just that stiff-necked and hard-headed and you need a mama and a daddy, or a female and a male. That's not the point. The point is he empowers someone to deal with you as a whole. He does not need you to have both genders to fulfill an agenda.
Do you think that some have been affected by having more women present in the church to teach and be mothers? I've heard, we've had dialogue before about women being present to teach men how to pray. So they take on a feminine approach to prayer. Or do you think we don't have enough
That
fathers?
old feminine approach is misunderstood, because what you're saying is that they're more emotional during prayer, they're lengthy, because women really touch God till they reach their kingdom climax. So men who pray long and get emotional, you can tell most of them have sat under very powerful, strong women. Mm-hmm. Men who pray quick but yet powerful, you can tell they had men, because most men don't conversate long, period. Okay, but I will say now, because you asked me, I have a preference, because the Bible says in the book of Corinthians that when Paul is talking to men, he even tells women, wait till you get home and talk to your husband. But he's also given the order that a woman's head is her husband, a woman's head is her hair, and all of this, you know, in that little dialogue. Then he releases you and says, if a woman knows who her proper covering is, and she has sat under proper covering, she's proper to cover.
Love this.
Period.
Love it.
If a woman has been properly covered and knows what covering looks like biblically, she is proper to cover.
Love it. Okay. So this may be a little sensitive because I know you have experienced this, and most of us who have sons and daughters have experienced this. Let's talk about wounded fathers. I was with a group of preachers, and one of my friends said his father was Bishop Eddie Long. Was consecrated by Bishop Eddie Long, was with him for 20 plus years, and has struggled to find a father now that his father has gone to glory. He made the comment, and he said, my pop, he didn't die of cancer, he died of a broken heart. He said when he went through some of the worst moments of his life, a lot of the sons and daughters turned on him, which caused him to not be able to recover, even though they said cancer was present. So let's talk about wounded fathers, because there are so many times that we talk about church hurt from a member standpoint, from a son and a daughter standpoint, but we don't talk about the leading while bleeding standpoint.
If I came home and you're my son and you're married to my daughter-in-law and I catch you in the room visiting from a vacation with another woman, I'm very upset, I'm very angry that I caught you in this compromising position of you cheating on your wife. I'm still going to talk to you after. We're going to talk, we're going to eat, we're going to continue, but we're going to discuss it. Right?
Yes, sir.
But if you caught me cheating on your mama, it's a different level. The hurts, the actions are the same, but the response and the in-depth emotion, the expression of it is different. You can tell me what you want to tell me about your mother, fight me, want to kill me, but you can't counsel me out of what I did. You'll probably never have the respect you ever had for me again in that area. And you'll still say, Dad, I always love you, but I can't believe this. We don't get the right to tell you all that. If we're caught in the same compromising positions, the outcome and the conversation is very different. Very different. I'll give you an example. Wounded fathers have first been sons. No one's a father that's never been a son.
True.
That's why we should be respected, that we made it from sonship to being a father. In the natural world, you're not a father till you have a baby. Okay, so you're not a father while you're a brother with no kids, in the natural order of things.
Right.
Once you get your girl pregnant and she gives birth, you have become a father against your will.
Yes.
Whether it was a willing pregnancy or unwilling, you are now considered in court to be that child's brother,
Right. Father.
coach, mentor,
Mentor. Right. Come on.
manager. You're the father.
Yes.
They are then ordered, they don't care about where you work, to command that you support that child. We're commanded by God to support you all. Y'all are not commanded by God to submit to us. But we're commanded. Abraham was blind, could not pick a wife for his son. He called his servant and said, you've been by me greater than a son. Go and find him a wife. Abraham didn't choose that wife. That was his responsibility as a father. He took a servant who walked in the place of a son and told him, go find my son a wife. What a responsibility.
Wow.
We've not been taught it. So we that have been taught it, having to leave folk who have not been taught, it hurts us when we hear the disdain and the disrespect that comes out of the mouth, even in respect. There's a respectful sarcasm. There's a disrespect in silent words or short sentences. Now, what you don't know, and I want to say this, It's certain people like me who have been victims of hurt as a wounded father, bleeding while leading.
Yes.
We knew when we said we were your fathers who had the propensity to leave and to betray us. We just hoped that they would outgrow that place. We knew who had the propensity to betray. We studied them. They didn't study us. They only knew of us what they see. But when your father, you go through a study. We know who their leaders were. We called them. We asked questions. So we knew what we were adopting, hoping that we had enough of God in us to help them get what they couldn't get anywhere else. So did they actually wound us? The truth is they assisted, but the actuality is we wounded ourselves because we allowed it. Real fathers don't give up on children. Children do give up on fathers. But real fathers and mothers be like, I cannot give up on my child. Even if they're in jail, the mother be like, that's my boy.
Right.
She never says that's a criminal.
True.
That's a robber. She never calls him what he did. She calls him who he is.
Absolutely.
I know I have a few lies around me to say they sons and daughters, a few everything. But I never call them what they do.
That's good. As we close this, I see some of my Shabach brothers and sisters on there. I won't start calling names, but I see a bunch of them on there. And I can say, I can't speak for all of them, but I think I can speak for most of them, that you have been an amazing father to us. Even when I didn't understand, I met you years ago when you used to come preach for my convocation and things of that nature, and I saw it then, and organically the connection happened. And I went through this period. I was telling Mama Mixon one time, I was like, I don't even think he liked me. Not knowing that because I had never seen a father, that you were really fathering me. I didn't know how to really pick that up. And so I knew at some point, and I say this all the time, and it's just the truth for me, you saved my life, like, because I was successful, I was all these other things, but it wasn't polished. And to have somebody who could care about my character more than they cared about my gifting, how I could prophesy, what I had, what I could bring to the table, and to finally be able to submit to someone who would say, this is my beloved son in whom I'm well pleased. I think that having proper fathers in place gets a different result for those of us who have been fathered the right way. There's a lot of stuff that I used to do and I would want to do that I don't do now, because I think about, if my bishop gonna see this, am I gonna share this, and then my bishop gonna come and say, "Man, take that down." Am I gonna do this, and is it gonna embarrass my bishop? And even you appointed me as vice bishop of Shabach. That was a certain level of responsibility as a son, but it was also a certain level of accountability for me, because I'm saying, hey, there's just certain things that I just can't do because I'm working for the family business. Like, this is my father's vision that I'm carrying, so I now have to be accountable in a different light. And so I just wanted to surface that context, because there's a lot of people on here that may not have proper fathering or proper covering. So they don't really know what that is. They've not seen it. Some denominations don't. I was Baptist.
And you keep using the word. I think the biggest mistake I made is I prophetically covered instead of properly covered.
Wow.
I prophetically covered everybody who had gifts. And all of them that had gifts, okay, were drawn to the gift, drawn to whatever the gift, whether it was precise, whether it was pristine, whether it was whatever. I'm aware that some use me to help allocate and help with their budgets and everything.
Right.
I already know what I bring to the table as a father. I've been used as a son by my fathers when I was young. They knew God blessed me in these areas. Now I'm being used by my sons as a father. So usury is there. But here's the big part. Proper covering looks like nothing you've ever seen, because most people avoid proper.
Yes, sir.
Proper demands a lot of changes, and nothing welcomes change more than a wet baby. A wet baby will cry to be changed, but a grown-up will walk around with a soiled diaper forever.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay? But nothing welcomes change more than a wet baby. Baby's crying because I'm hungry, I want to eat, or I'm in the hands of a stranger. But some of these leaders who believe that being a leader means that you can't be a child or be submerged in infantile discussions, they will walk around with spiritually soiled diapers and look around at everybody as if they did it when it's in your diaper. They will not welcome change. They will not let somebody get in their drawers and be like, you need to wash your behind and change your underwear.
Yeah.
You smell.
Yeah.
That's the only analogy that I could come up with at this time.
Oh, it was the beast.
That you got clean clothes on top of dirty underwear, and you don't want nobody to tell you you need to go wash and let's be proper.
Wow.
It took a lot for me to become proper. I'm glad I had my bishop 26 years. I wasn't going anywhere. He never came to a convocation, never supported me. Now, I support my people when it's necessary. He's never sent an offering, never had to. He did what he was supposed to do. Stop me the day that I said I'm never going to preach again. And I meant that. I was let down by a huge organization who now is showing me love, but I had never been that hurt in my life by an organization that I grew up in, and he is a part of that organization, so I should have never talked to him because he's an extension of that organization. But he showed me a love at the time when I was through. I wasn't going to backslide. People thought I'm like them. I'm not like them. I'm staying with God. So I was going to be the most uncovered anointed leader on the planet. But not like everybody else, because I'm not preaching anymore. I'm not prophesying. See, I'm not going to do those uncovered.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to church. I'm going to pay my tithe and offering to whoever the pastor is, but I'm no longer singing in choirs. I meant what I said. Mm-hmm. And this man came out of nowhere and said, I'll see you Sunday. Be ready to preach. I didn't bring a Bible. I didn't bring suits. That revival went almost a month. Miracle signs and wonders, and I felt nothing. I mean miracle signs and wonders. Blind eyes opening, people who are paralyzed getting up out of wheelchairs. This is documented in Vegas. It's still talked about now. And I felt nothing. Zero.
Wow.
And what I needed was that one man who barely talks. He says, I don't care who don't believe in you. I do. I don't know him. So everything I did after him, I did in his name. Every time I made a decision, I thought, what is this going to do to Bishop Caruth? What is this going to do to whomever? Mm-hmm. I also thought about my biological father. What is he going to say? Because he heard all the rumors too. And they didn't know he was my father. All they knew is this barefoot prophet Tall Hall ain't no good, got babies out of wedlock, and my dad has to hear this.
Wow.
Then still come hug me and kiss me. How do we think that we can get a father like that once and it's easy to leave and get it again? It took you that long to get it once. Ain't no guarantee you're going to do that again.
True.
Now, which one I enjoyed the most? I enjoyed being a submitted son. I'd rather him be alive and tell me what to do than for me trying to get people to do what they should. I don't get no joy out of being no bishop over other people. That's a responsibility.
Yes, sir.
That's not a blessing. It's a responsibility.
So now we have Shabach Network.
And y'all made me do that. People want to know why we changed the name. Fellowship, Shabbat Fellowship of Churches, that was for our generation. But this new generation, They're just attracted to something that I have to offer, that God sent people into our lives that understand their lingo.
Yes.
It's a different net to catch fish.
Yes, sir.
And I'm
Because
cool
not
with
just
it.
pastors need to be covered. You got dance teams, you got praise bands, you got 501c3s, you got business owners. They all
Like
need
I
to
said,
have
y'all thinking
proper-
more expansive than me.
Yes, sir.
Mine stopped at fivefold ministries, or four, whatever you call them. And the day now has approached where we're leaving just the brick and mortar and going into the world to compel men to come. And that word network will determine how we work the net.
So I dare not leave these 700 plus people who are with us on various platforms
How many people?
because there are some pastors, there are some business owners, there are some, singers and musicians. And
If they
things
want
of
to
that
be
nature.
properly covered,
And they
I
wanna be
can do the
properly
job.
covered.
If
Right.
they want to be just prophetically covered, I'm retired. I'm retired. I can no longer just cover gifts. I need to cover character, morals. I need to cover what I want to be before I leave the earth. I would one day want to be married. I want to leave here a wholesome example to the world, not just in my gift and my hooping, my dress code. I want people to say, he was a great man, he was a great father, was a great husband. And I still have a few years left, I pray, to get this right. Because now God is not calling for preachers to occupy heaven. He's calling for people who walk in a certain light. Heaven is not for preachers. Heaven is not for musicians. It's for people who walked in the light, character. And now I have to do certain things that I never planned on doing, don't even have a desire to do, just so that when I say it, I am it.
Wow.
I could say it and mean it. I've been married before, but no one knew me then. They've known me as Single Prophet Hall for over 20 years. But I'm in my 60s. But I've been married. But the new generation don't want to hear about my past marriage. Mm-hmm. Their question is, why you ain't married now?
Right.
You don't even know what marriage looks like now. You old. They tried to kill my brother when he got married at his latter age, after being married. Oh, he should never got married. His church dropped off. Church dropped off, but his character grew.
Wow. Wow.
I think we're too worried about the wrong things at the expense of what's right.
Yes. Yes, sir. So those that need to be properly covered, you can inbox us on our Shabach Christian Church Fellowship page. Inbox us and we will reach out to you. We will get you all the information you need to be properly covered. This is a serious work for our bishop.
I don't even want to use the word covered. I want you to be protected. I'm changing the word covering, even though you're covered, to the word protected. Some of you are out here unprotected. And unprotected people that keep screwing around with everything, keep leaving illegitimate stuff all over the world. Need you protected. Protected. But we all have a date with a mistake.
Woo! Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot I was on the panel.
All of us have a date with a mistake.
Yes.
And based upon who's covering you will let you feel how protected you are.
I love that.
I mean,
I love that.
That's factual.
Shabach is a great place, and we are doing some amazing things that we would love to share with you. I thank God for our bishop and all that he has poured. I saw several people say we need to do this straight talk session again. So this is...
I used to do it years ago. They just miss us, but I think they like that you have a sincere heart asking me questions. I've always been ahead of the curve until recently. I've done everything. Conversations with the prophet. I have done Brooklyn's Finest. I have done so many platforms prior to COVID and during COVID. Season 1, season 2, 54 episodes. Everybody knows that I played to build character. But when I found out that people could literally attack what's trying to help them, it killed my fire and my passion. Now I'm just getting some of that back because there are people back in the seats and coming into my life who says, you deserve to be treated better. You deserve not to work so hard. All fathers, mothers want is to know someone cares about them enough not to watch them die doing what they do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now,
Yes, sir.
some of y'all know how to sew because somebody wrote it and I saw it. If you want to sew into me today, you can go do that. It's easy. It's just that easy. That's how you know who loves you and cares. It's easy. There is no amount. Just go sew. But more than that, we want you to help us when we start doing what we're doing cross country in our campaigns, in our several ministries and auxiliaries and things that we're going to do. I'm using old school terms. They got the upgraded terms. The auxiliary is very old, right? But the things that we'll do across the world for school, for building, for helping children, for illiteracy, for building houses, for the poor, whatever we're going to do, we need partners and people to connect with us, especially you who are looking to sow somewhere where you can see it. We need you to consider being a part of us. Okay, if you can't join us, you can still connect and help us by sowing into our vision. And when you sow, you become a pro to the vision. So that's provision. You be the pro and let us be the vision. And let's do the provision thing. Okay, we need y'all to do that. But today, all of you watching, you can go to Cash App and $Praiseologist. Let's see if you care today. Let's see if we said anything that may have startled you. And you that have huge questions, and you disagree with things that we said, please send us those questions because that's how they can build their next forum. Send us those questions, the things you didn't like, the questions you didn't agree with. Give us the reasons why. We will not duck anything, and we'll come back and we'll take it from that angle.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. I hope this was a blessing to y'all, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.